Hi everyone, my name is Emily, and today I'm setting up my reading journal for 2023. Because I only read a few books a year, I am continuing to use the same Archer and Olive notebook that I started last year. Last year I did a dark academia theme, and this year I wanted to do something totally different, so I went for this springy cottagecore theme. The color green was also calling to me for some reason, so I use a lot of green throughout this setup to tie it all together. Of course, I'm starting off this setup with a cover page and a quote page. For my reading journal, I enjoy doing this collage style, so I printed off these cottagecore inspired photos from Pinterest and used them to decorate these pages. I must already be sick of winter because I really wanted this cover page to remind me of cozy spring vibes like picnics. I just wanted a bit of that vintage style with a little French countryside feel. And once I saw the photo on the bottom left of my cover page, I knew that was exactly the vibe I was going for. I wanted it to just feel very serene and picturesque and kind of romantic, I guess. And of course, I loved the other photo because it had a cat in it. I have a cat, so that just jumped out to me right away with its vibes fitting the theme as well. And then, of course, the cat being there. For the quote page, I took a very similar approach to the cover page with doing a lot of trial and error with the collaging. And the quote I chose was, "Reading forces you to be quiet in a world that no longer makes a place for that," by John Green. I liked this quote because I think it's a good reminder for me that whenever I need to slow down and escape the hecticness of everyday life, reading is a great way to do that. It's funny because after setting up this reading journal and my regular bullet journal, which I will also link above in case you haven't seen it yet, with these very cozy vibes that I have going on, I feel like that's just what I'm going for in 2023. I am just trying to live my most peaceful, cozy, most aesthetic life possible and bringing those vibes into this year and trying to make that happen any way I possibly can. And if that means I have to, basically mood board it into my bullet journals, I will. And the stickers I'm using throughout this setup are by Audrey Okeya, and the girl stickers are by Mochi Bujo. I will link them down below along with the other supplies I used in case you are interested. Moving on to the next spreads, I always like to include a bookshelf to write down the books I read throughout the year. And this year I am doing 2 bookshelves because I am separating regular books from comics. I got inspired to do this after watching Kat and Mac set up their reading journal, and they were doing a separate reading challenge for books and comics, and I just love that idea, so I wanted to do it for my bookshelves. And I will link that video below in case you are interested in checking them out. I want to get into reading comics and graphic novels more, and maybe even dabble in some manga, so I'm hoping the separate bookshelf will inspire me. So if anyone has any comics, graphic novels, or manga they want to recommend, definitely leave me a comment below and I'll try to check them out. For the decoration on these bookshelves, again, I'm using some stickers by Audrey Okeya. Hopefully I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I apologize if I'm not. And then I'm also doing some doodles myself of just some plants and some candles to fill up some of the space here. Whenever I draw these bookshelves, I honestly just do it randomly. I don't set a yearly reading goal in terms of how many books I want to read. The reason being that I want reading to be fun, and I feel like if I make it a numerical goal I have to achieve, it just ends up stressing me out and takes the fun out of reading. I used to hate reading so much as a kid that I never used to read, so for me, any amount of reading is a win and better than nothing. And that's the goal at the end of the day. So I just happened to draw 20 books on my bookshelf and 19 on the comics shelf, so we'll see how many get filled by the end of the year. And I always make a key at the top for what color I color in the book, depends on what type of book it is. Next up is my yearly book bracket. I wrote 12 lines and then I'll narrow it down to 6, and then my top 3 books of the year. And then on the piece of brown paper on the bottom, I'll eventually print out the cover of my favorite for all of 2023. This is another spread I did last year as well, and in case you're curious, I decided my favorite book of 2022 was I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, which I do talk about and set up the spread for in a previous reading journal video, which I'll link above in case you want to hear me talk about the book a little more. Next to my book bracket, I am setting up a to be read spread. As I'm sure most of you know, those of you who watch reading journal videos, and I'm assuming if you're watching mine, you've probably seen many others, that this is where I'll write down what books I want to check out for 2023. I make my to be read into columns that I just write down and have space for the title of the book, the author, and then the date that I eventually finished the book and the rating I gave it. This is always a fun spread to look back at the end of the year to see what ratings I gave everything. And also, whenever I'm not sure what to read next, it can be a good reminder of something I've been meaning to read. Something I wish I did do here was I wish I made the top column there with the title, author, date, and rating pink, just to tie in the pink from the other pages as well a little bit more. My last spread for my reading journal setup is one I am really excited to show you all. I am doing a reading challenge for the year, and I'm calling it Reading Across the Rainbow. Basically, the challenge is to read a book that has a main character or author that identifies as each letter within the LGBTQIA+ acronym. As a queer person, I love reading stories about people within the community, and I want to read even more of them this year. So I'm really excited to do this challenge and hopefully learn more about people with different identities. I'm sure many people have created similar reading challenges to this in the past, but if anyone decides to do this specific one, feel free to tag me over on Instagram at mhagsbujo. I would love to hear about it. So for the decoration, I drew this really big rainbow across these pages with these more muted colors so that it wouldn't be in too much contrast with the rest of the theme and setup. Then I cut out these white pieces of paper with one letter from the acronym on each. So when I read a book that has a lesbian character, for example, I will print out the cover of the book and paste it over the white piece of paper. So again, if you have any suggestions for books you might think be good for this challenge, let me know and I would love to hear them. So I have each letter here in order going down the rainbow, and I'm really excited to see how this looks once it's all filled out, hopefully. And to tie it in with the rest of the theme and setup, I'm doing some more collaging in the top and bottom here. And I really think it helps tie the whole page together and definitely helps it tie in with the rest of the setup. In addition to my reading across the Rainbow Challenge, I want to challenge myself to read different genres this year. I haven't decided if I'm going to tie this in with the Rainbow Challenge or not, or just allow it to be a separate thing. But the genres I included are mystery, fantasy, romance, memoir, adult, horror, and thriller. Alright, that's it for my 2023 reading journal setup. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment. Any amount of engagement you can give really helps a small YouTube channel like mine. I also post new bullet journal videos every month, and all of my themes this year will be based on video games, which is going to be fun, so I hope you stick around for what's to come. Thanks again for watching, and take care until next time.